Poverty is one of the most pressing issues that the poor face. Poverty is a major issue today in Sri Lanka. The need for action is urgent. We are working tirelessly to create a deeper understanding of development issues relating to poverty. We transform lives, from grassroots to reshaping policies and practices. We are the Centre for Poverty Analysis. CEPA is a dynamic think tank taking the lead in poverty-related research for Sri Lanka. Launched in May 2001 by 9 dedicated Sri Lankan professionals, we recognized the need for practical guidance in poverty-related policies and set out to bridge the gap by offering services grounded in real research that addresses market needs while contributing to shaping policy. CEPA strives to influence poverty-related development policy at national, regional, sectoral, program and project levels. Our mission is to be a leading organization providing independent analysis of poverty with a view to shaping policy that affects the lives and livelihoods of vulnerable women, men and children in Sri Lanka and the region.
A world in which decision making, especially where it affects the lives and livelihoods of vulnerable women, men and children, is based on non-partisan, robust evidence.
වර්තමානයේ පවතින ආර්ථික අර්බුදය මගින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාව දරිද්‍රතාවය තුරන් කිරීම පිළිබඳව ලබා තිබූ විශිෂ්ට ජයග්‍රහණයන් සියල්ල ආපසු හරවා ඇත. අද අප ජනගහනයෙන් 3න් 1ක් දරිද්‍රතාවයෙන් පෙළෙන අතර තවත් බහුතර සංඛ්‍යාවක් දරිද්‍රතාවයට නැවත ඇදවැටීමේ අවදානමකට ලක්ව තිබෙනවා. මේ තත්ත්වයට අනුකූලව දරිද්‍රතාවයේ තුරන් කිරීමට අදාළ ප්‍රතිපත්ති පර්යේෂණ කිරීමට ඒ පිළිබඳ උපදෙස් සැපයීමට දරිද්‍රතා විශ්ලේෂණ කේන්ද්‍රය කැප වී සිටිනවා.
CEPA's efforts to address poverty-related issues revolve around 6 key themes: social cohesion and reconciliation, natural resources, climate and poverty, gender and development, basic services and social protection, livelihoods and employment, labour migration.
Coming on to 15 years since the end of the Civil War, what led to it, the different narratives of the conflict and the visceral socio-economic impacts of it are still very much present in the country. Our thematic's aim is to study and develop an intersectional understanding of this.
Natural resources provide critical functions for life. When natural resources are depleted, it exacerbates existing insecurities and injustices that make the poor more vulnerable. So this thematic concentrates on solutions that enhance the relationships between people and the planet.
Having a gendered analysis across CEPA's thematic areas ensures that the research and resultant policy recommendations that we devise take into consideration gender as one of the many intersections of poverty and development in relation to factors such as religion, ethnicity, caste, class and socio-economic factors.
I'm leading the thematic on basic services and social protection, but in an applied sense what we are doing is probing into poverty, that is to say the measurement of poverty, which is very much required for operating social safety nets, and then of course understanding the causes of poverty, but more importantly in the current context try to understand what's said as poverty vulnerability and how to alleviate poverty vulnerability during an economic crisis.
CEPA's employment and livelihood thematic focuses on how people move out of poverty, how people fall into poverty or how people stay in poverty through the secure livelihoods that they have access to. We are particularly concerned about how these multiple ongoing crises at the national level and the global level shape these livelihood choices and bring about sustainable change for their lives and their families' lives.
Looking back at the establishment of CEPA in 2001, I feel it's quite important to keep in mind the guiding principles that were involved when conceptualizing CEPA. And one guiding principle was the fact that CEPA was not supposed to be a pure research organization, but rather a hybrid that would, on the basis of applied research, try to provide services to clients, and thirdly, influence public discourse and policy making. The second principle, very important, was to not look at CEPA as an isolated unit, but as an organization within a larger landscape of other organizations that would contribute to the public discourse on poverty, but not claim to be the one and only. So it was an impetus right from the start that CEPA should cultivate good working relationships and even form alliances with other organizations and initiatives in Sri Lanka as well as internationally.
Today, CEPA is actively engaged in combating the effects of Sri Lanka's most severe economic crisis, an endeavour that is no small feat. We believe that poverty is an injustice that should be overcome, and that overcoming poverty involves changing policies and practices nationally and internationally, as well as working with people in poverty.
Api CEPA.
Nangal CEPA.
We are CEPA.